I wish to make a quick and brief video opening up a discussion on issues of conflict and poverty in the developing world, and particularly in Africa, underwritten by capitalism. And before I go deeper, I wish to share an undated video, but it's recent.
Six of the 10 fastest growing economies are in sub-Saharan Africa, countries rich in mineral wealth. Coltan for our computers, cobalt for our batteries, phosphates for our agriculture, nuclear ore for our power. These are the things, gentlemen, that the wars of the next 20, 30 years will be fought over. A huge deposit of cobalt was discovered in Mali just over 2 years ago. Back then, we approached the Malian government about mining rights. They told us those rights were going to the Chinese. So we set about to create the conditions to make sure that wouldn't happen. Just last week, one of our Australian subsidiaries, thank you, Lex, secured those rights. Our pilot project in Mali hit a few bumps, but I'm delighted to report that it worked. And if it can work there, there's no reason it can't work in other mineral-rich countries across Africa. We create the chaos, then we move in and capitalize on that chaos. We're looking at the long term here, gentlemen. Rates of return that will make Iraq and Afghanistan look like chicken feed.
Right. So in my submission was that capitalism is the cause of the conflicts and the poverty situation in the developing world, and particularly sub-Saharan Africa. The nature of capitalism is that its search for access and control of resources leads to conflict. And as argued many times, capitalism has mutated and continues to mutate from colonialism to neocolonialism and the various other facets, and even the growth of corporatism, which is also a new political ideology that organizes or advocates for the organization of society by corporate groups permeating different spheres of society, be it in agriculture, determining how we produce what we produce, in the military sphere, what weapons we use to fight who, in the business and science, in medicine, corporates are there, and their main focus is the maximization of profit into private hands. So there are issues then to say corporatism, capitalism are exacerbating and increasing poverty, and the poverty is part of the conditions that facilitate the easy access and control of resources in Africa. Poor societies have been rendered vulnerable to debt traps. Poor societies have been fighting among themselves, as inequality arguably leads to conflict. And poor societies have been left defenseless to the machinations of international capitalism and a plethora of tools. Besides the debt trap issue, there is internationalization of the business of poverty. Poverty is business. There are issues also used against other targets in societies such as Zimbabwe and other countries where you have sanctions, which are meant to retain power and control by few corporations. And where these sanctions do not work, there is chaos. For example, through new threats to society, such as terrorism. And also, this is also to be understood in the context of other threats, such as climate change, which again, capitalism has led to and continues to influence and continues to cash in on such mishaps in society. I think I'll close this discussion.